I don't know what this is a sign of, but we'll get clashing about it. Walmart is looking to grow in China after getting a hard time from major American cities like New York and Washington, D.C. Gretchen Hamel says, well, that's a big I told you so. You get rough with a big U.S. jobs provider, they look elsewhere to find the jobs. Stuart Acuff, a big union official, says so she's too crazy for words. No, he didn't say that at all. But Gretchen, you think that this Walmart move is at the expense of American jobs? Because Walmart has even said, we're still inclined to hire as many American workers, so it's not either or. You say it is.
Well, you have to look, they're being met with tough regulations and demands from cities like New York City and Chicago, and even here in Washington, D.C. But Walmart employs 1.4 million Americans and is paying wages of $13, but are often met with very harsh criticism when they're paying more than the average private in the U.S. Marine Corps makes.
I'm sure you agree with all of those points, Stuart, so I'll allow you to elaborate. But the one thing that does occur to me, though, is that whether you agree with what cities have been doing or not, and they've had a run around back and forth with Washington, D.C., ultimately with the mayor there relenting and allowing this super wage, minimum wage thing to die, that would have all but forced Walmart out of the district. But it has been made tough for the big box stores, particularly the Walmarts, to expand, hasn't it?
Well, it has made it tough for Walmart to expand, and that's fine with us. We don't want them undercutting good union grocery stores like they have been doing in place after place, destroying small businesses like they have been doing in place after place.
Well, they've created a lot of jobs too, though, right?
And they're not going to give up any of those jobs. Gretchen said that people make $13.25 an hour. Well, the minimum wage that we tried to pass in Washington, D.C. was just $12.75 an hour. And Walmart squealed like stuck pigs about $12.75 an hour.
Well,
so I don't think they're looking to pay people
$13.25.
They don't.
That was what they pay on average.
Well, the government tells everybody what they should pay, Gretchen. The government tells everybody what they should pay. But they continue to tell them to rise and rise and rise that minimum wage.
Guys, I will give each a chance. But Gretchen, one of the things that was Walmart's argument was it was inconsistent, city to city. Each one had demands.
Exactly.
And that was one of the things that they were against. Do you think that Walmart, though, could have opened up a bit more, and this move to China is in fact a way of exacting concessions from cities that it might be looking to expand to? Gretchen.
I think it's one thing that we often forget that, 90% of the U.S., 90% of consumers live outside the United States. So when businesses are met with tough regulations and tough governments to deal with here, whether it be city, local, or even federal government, they're going to find ways to move outside the U.S. They're going to go to those 90% of those consumers, and they are going to go make money elsewhere. So, and who loses out? It's us, Americans, who lose out. Because while he was talking about protecting big union grocery stores, he's not talking about the free market principles that would allow us to drive down the prices and for us to make our dollars go farther.
Stuart, do we gain anything? It's just consumer. But Stuart, do we get anything? Any savings? Consumers, are they robbed of savings and cheap and inexpensive drugs and consumer products if this trend continues?
No, there are plenty of other providers of those things, and one of them is a union operation called Costco, who does a great job providing
so if Walmart were unionized, you wouldn't have a problem.
And decent wages. If Walmart had a collective bargaining agreement with their people. But let me answer one thing in the search of the truth. When Gretchen says 90% of other people in the country, is she talking about Western Europe? Is she talking about Scandinavia, Brazil, South Africa, Korea, where you have emerging and large labor movements, and with that, in the case of Brazil, South Africa, and Korea, you also have growing and booming economies. And that's what we need in this country. We need better wages.
Unions would provide that. Unions would get us booming again?
Absolutely.
All right, that's counterintuitive.
Absolutely.
Well, if unions provided a booming economy, then I think Detroit would be the new New York City. I think Detroit would be still in good standing and not going bankrupt. I think your claim is false.
Gretchen, any enterprise that lost a third of its income and a third of its consumers would have the same problems Detroit has.
But why did it lose that?
Bottom line is,
Because we
is the mess of this trend is guys, I want to get you back to discuss this in more detail. You're both very good expounding on your response.